just asking me to change my screen rotation. I don't know why, but now you have this lovely view in the background and Greg has wandered into the room to join us. You might hear some weird, no, I don't want to say weird noises. Some noises from like the front of the house today. I just have the door open because there's no one else here. I don't know what I think is going to make noise, but I have the aircon on. We don't have air conditioning in this room. It's very hot, so I'm just trying to get a bit of flow. Sorry, I just woke up from a nap. I know it's like 11:30, but I just woke up from a nap. I've been trying to get up really early. It's getting hot really early here. So like for context, obviously I live in Australia. We're headed into summer. Well, no, sorry, it is the third day of summer. So it is getting to be about 30 degrees by 8:30 in the morning, and we have about 85% humidity where I live. So it's getting very warm to be running, I guess. I'm trying to train for this half marathon. So it's getting really really hot for that sort of thing by like 7 o'clock. So I've been trying to get up early. It's not going well. Yeah, it is just not going well for me. I tell you what, I had to buy, thank you, I love you. Yeah, so I got this watch strap. And I've been teased mercilessly about this at work. And I think it's cute. It's like a 90s vibe, but I've been teased mercilessly about it. It's very rude. So I guess let's introduce today's tea. I'm drinking iced tea today. Again, it's very hot. So this is the T2 tea that I brewed and then chilled, I guess. It doesn't actually recommend it as an iced tea, but it's nice. It's Mexicola flavor. Basically just spiced cola. It's actually not too bad. It has a bit of a funny aftertaste, but like better than I thought it was going to be. And I have a Red Bull here that I've been waiting to try, the summer edition. It's Juneberry flavor. Yes, it is the Starbucks Dumbo cup, and it says, "It's a beautiful day." I just thought it was neat. We don't have Starbucks where I live. The closest one is like, it's like a 2.5 day drive. But I ordered that online, and it came sort of like a DoorDash delivery. Hilarious. So the Red Bull is Juneberry flavor. The summer edition, and I'm kind of curious because I was just thinking about it as I was getting out of the fridge. Did you guys have this in your summer, and they've just been like waiting to release it to our market? Like I don't know why that occurred to me, but it did. Anyway, welcome to our live stream. We don't really have too much to discuss today, though. I do have a couple of questions to go through. Juneberry flavored, yes, it is. It's Juneberry flavored, which is like a Juneberry is like a Saskatoon. I don't know. I don't think we have those in Australia. Juneberry, but I'm excited to try it. I can't tell you. I don't know if I've had a real Juneberry before, so I can't tell you how close that is. I do have a couple of questions to get through, so we'll go through that. Yeah. I lost my train of thought there, but yeah, here we go. Okay. Let's start putting my makeup on, I guess. So, oh no. That's fine. Ari, the tea in Tea and Ton, have you had the Bridgerton teas? I have 2 of the Bridgerton teas. I have the Kate and Anthony one and the Newton one, the ginger biscuit, and it's like a chai for Kate and Anthony, which feels pretty unoriginal, but you know, they're actually both pretty good. I've been kind of saving them because you couldn't, you actually can't, or when I tried, you can't order them for delivery in Australia, even though Republic of Tea does ship to Australia. You can't order them to get delivered in Australia. I'm assuming it's a licensing problem, like Bridgerton, like for licensing reasons, they can't send it outside of the US. So I had to ask a friend to send it to me. So I've been like drinking it really sparingly. The tins are really cute. It's really nice tea, actually. The ginger biscuit one, the Noon one, is probably my favourite of the two, but I have been like drinking them really sparingly, so I don't use them that often. Yeah, the tins are really cute though. I'm like kind of waiting to... Ooh, that's nice. Okay, Red Bull. I'm waiting to like be able to use the tins for something else, but the speed I'm drinking this tea, I'm never going to get through it. It's not going to happen. I don't know. It's kind of like stationery. I love stationery. I love buying stationery, but I have this real habit of like keeping stationery for good. Like it's for good. It's not like, I don't know what this magical occasion I'm waiting on that I'm going to be able to like use all of my very fancy stationery. Like I have heaps of, if I open this drawer now, I can find at least, oh look, I can find at least, here's a letter writing set. I can find at least like 5 different pieces of stationery that I'm saving for good. And it's never going to come. I've got like note cards here, like personalized note cards that are Beauty and the Beast themed. They're monogrammed. Like I'm saving those for a special occasion. I don't know what that is, but it's the same with these teas. I'm saving them for a special occasion. I am. It's the way things go. But I am actually using some of my special post-it notes for the annotated copy of The Viscount Who Loved Me that I'm giving away. So if you're interested in the kind of, I got them in Tokyo Disneyland. It's very exciting. So if you're interested in seeing the kind of stationery I've been squirreling away for years at this point, because for context, I last visited Tokyo Disney in 2019. So it's been a little while I've been holding on to these. If you're interested in seeing that, make sure you enter our competition. I'll put a link probably in the description when this gets posted properly. But yeah, I'm saving them. Yes, I squirrel things away for a special occasion. Counting down to tea in the ton. Yeah, here we are. I missed something cute. Yeah, okay. I have my Bridgerton teas. I'll take a picture when I get off here, and I'll post it maybe on like the Instagram. I have an Instagram for Tea in the Tom, by the way, if you want to follow us on Instagram. I don't really post anything, but right now I'm posting my book advent calendar, which I bought, and today's book that I unwrapped. I should have saved it to unwrap on the thing, but I didn't. So this is today's book, Elodie's Library of Second Chances, Rebecca Raisin. We'll see what that's like. It appears to be about a publishing magnate's daughter with a secret, and she moves to a small town to be a librarian. Love that for us. These are all books. The theme for this advent calendar was... Right? Oh no, okay. Well, I can't... was romance and relationships. So that's an exciting thing that's happened. I'm sorry, Greg, did that wake you from your nap? Don't look at me like that. Yeah, very exciting. Shout out to the Book Grocer for that. They have a whole bunch of book advent calendars you can buy, and they come wrapped in wrapping paper, all numbered. They're very cute, actually. I'm very excited to get to day 12, I think it is. Yeah. Because it's clearly a hardback book. And Australia is like almost exclusively a paperback society. We do not have, traditionally like hardback books would come out, and then in a couple of months to even like a year, the paperback would come out. That does not happen in Australia. Like, we go straight to paperback. So I'm very curious, particularly for like this kind of genre. I'm very curious what has warranted a hardback book. I'm, thrilled to find out what's going on there. You may also notice my really shiny Illuminate Bridgerton books in the background that have replaced my original covers. Very exciting. Again, there's a photo of, oh, I don't actually think I posted a photo of those on the Tea and the Tom Instagram. I should do that. But yes, I also like looking. Is the I have no idea about, like, what is Molly talking about? Because it could be, I don't even know anymore. But I will take a photo of my Kate and Anthony. I have them, like, sitting up in my kitchen, like, on display. Which I just, yeah, I love to look at their cute little faces. Anyway. In 15 years when season 3 comes out, any thoughts on a Discord viewing party? If you guys don't know, I have a Tea in the Ton Discord that you can join. I'm not most active on it, but some people, honestly, you're the true troopers. You really keep it going. I'm not super active on Discord. Mostly I don't really know how it works. I think if you guys want to do something like that, that's great. But I probably will observe privately first. Mostly so I have time to, like, filter my thoughts and reactions. I think would be a good idea, particularly coming into this season. I have a lot of apprehensions about how this is going to go, and yeah, not so sure that I want to do that very publicly, particularly given this week. Tea and the Tom, what are you enjoying most in your life right now? Yeah, I'm enjoying that it's December, and I'm very close. Where I work is going to be closed between Christmas and New Year. And I'm really just hanging out for that right now, I have to say. I know that sounds very sad, but I'm really just hanging out for that. This is the time of year, I call it going into caretaker mode, and it's basically, I do this from the end of October into January. Like the second week in January is when we have to come out of caretaker mode. But basically caretaker mode is like like the government before it changes hands. Where you're not allowed to, like, just push things through. You have to, like, wait for the new government. And so during that time, like, no one's really allowed to make any big decisions. We're not allowed to spend a lot of money. Yeah. What I'm really excited about in my life right now, though, is I just bought a treadmill. Very excited about that. That's getting delivered in a couple of weeks. Very excited to be able to run indoors. Yeah. Though I have to say, I've put a lot of, if you're like me, you're really sort of like you love researching things, you're a real, like, fact finder. And I put a lot of, I'm going to be a little old person waiting for an official release date for season 3. Yeah, look, my estimation for season 3, you heard it here first. Wait, I need to look up the weekends because it's going to come out on a Friday, and I want this to be an official proclamation. I think we are looking at April 12th. We're looking at April 12th, in my opinion, for Bridgerton to come out. Why? I really couldn't say. April 12th, I really don't, I think it will be, yeah, April 12th, I think it's just really, I think it's going to be April 12th. I think it's going to be, you heard it here first. If it is within, random people in the chat, Fridays for Australia, yes, so that's a Friday. The 12th of April is a Friday, 2024. And it will be coming out then. The really great thing about living in Australia, this is the only time that it comes in handy, is Netflix releases things at midnight, like Californian time. That is like 5 p.m. for Australia. That's the only good thing. It's the only good thing that happens to us all year is Netflix releases. So usually Fridays are my day off, so I can take the day off, and yeah, it's nice. Yeah. Yeah, well, and 5 p.m. is like a good time. You can stay up and watch it, and it's not like too late by the time you do that. Like, I think when I watched season 2, I watched it like straight through from the time it came out. I like went down to the city, got myself a little lunch, So, like I got myself like a little lunch to have like to have my dinner, and I got like everything set up, got some snacks, like went to the cinema, got some movie popcorn, and I like watched it right through, and I think it finished at like 2 a.m, which isn't like terrible, you know. It's not atrocious, it's kind of like it's manageable. But I think, yes, the 12th of April, you heard it here first, guys. There's absolutely no grounding in that. It's just pure vibes. It's pure vibes. That's it. That's the only reason why I think it's going to come out then. Also because I think season 2 came out at the end of March. So I guess like around that time. Yeah. But let's be honest, like Netflix, this is classic Netflix. It's been a while since season 2 came out. It'll have been, like, I don't think we're going to get it within 2 years of it coming out. So this is kind of typical, because what they do, this is a very Netflix thing to do, where they wait 4 years to release a new season of the show, and then when like casual viewers have lost interest in it because you know, most people's attention span isn't 4 years for a show, or they have to like go back and rewatch it because like we've forgotten things, you know, like, and then they go, oh well, there isn't an audience for the show. Like there was an audience 4 years ago, and I know this has been different because there's been a lot of there's been the strikes going on, and I think, like, sure, it you have an excuse there, but also, like, you don't for other shows, you know? Who do you think season 4 will be, Eloise or Benedict? I think we're going to get into the point, because I actually am suspicious we won't be going past season 4, and I think those are really the two storylines that will need tying up. Those are the two storylines that people are going to want to see an end point to, so I think genuinely we'll see both of those at the same time. Do I think that will play very well into the story? No. But I do think it's probably what's going to happen, you know? Yeah, sad, but I think that's probably the truth. It's not necessarily what I want to see, especially because I think, like, those are two stories that... And I think the annoying thing is, like, truly the annoying thing is, if you were gonna tie two stories together, it actually makes sense for it to be, like, Penelope and Eloise, like Colin and Eloise, because those two stories in the book happen literally at exactly the same time. Like, everyone's kind of, like, during Romancing Mr. Bridget, they're like, oh, what's going on with Eloise? She's acting so weird. And then, like, you get to Eloise's book and you're like, no, okay. She was slutting it up via letter. Like, it kind of makes sense. And Benedict and Eloise, like, I don't think it's going to make sense. Yeah, it's not going to make sense, but I think if we get to the point, I think it will really hinge on whether or not they're expecting a season 5 renewal, which I do think we'll find out following season 3. I don't think they bothered, like, announcing whether it was going to be renewed for season 5 after season 2, because one, I think that's too early. You know, if we're talking about 2 years of production for each series, basically it's what it's been, at least a year of production. We're then talking about like 4 years in the future. That doesn't really make sense, but I do think we'll get one for season 5, if it's going to happen, probably after season 3. In that case, if it's not coming, then I think it will be, yeah, then I think it's going to be, I think, and people are going to say this is just because it's not my favorite book, which it isn't, but I think they've genuinely done Penelope and Colin a little bit dirty by doing it now, because I don't think, like, I think they need time to mature. I think it made sense for Colin to, like, go away for a few years and, like, get his shit together. He was nasty to her at the end of that. Like, I'm sorry, I know that happens in the book, but it happens in a very different way. It happens in a much more, like, gentle way. He's talking with his brothers. He's not, like, announcing that at a party. Like, that's nasty. You need to get your shit together, mate. I'm not rooting for you at all. Like, no. No. And I think they've like genuinely, and I guess we'll see how that progresses, but like they've genuinely done them a bit of a disservice, I think. My opinion. Okay. My husband wanted to ask you a question for Tea in the Ton. Wow. I'm so sorry about like all the partners that have to hear my voice all the time. Like all the husbands, boyfriends, wives, girlfriends, just partners in general. Like I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry this has happened to you. And I think you like history. I do. So, Americans and Britons feel the cultural impact of certain World War II campaigns and battles, such as Iwo Jima and Normandy. Do Australians have similar indices from that war, such as the New Guinea and Kokoda campaign, that are still highly relevant to today's cultural lexicon? So this is... I am maybe in the best place to answer this question, and also like not a good measure of like general Australian feeling on this, because I grew up in the town that houses Australia's largest army base. I grew up in a big military town, and it is just very ingrained in the culture. Like it is a big like trend at school. Even like they have an army band, obviously the 3RAR band. Shout out to them, they're actually great. So I grew up in a place called Townsville in Queensland, which, yes, if you've seen the Powerpuff Girls, Townsville is a real place. So I grew up in a place called Townsville, and it houses Australia's largest army barracks, and it's just like very ingrained into society there. So you would like get the army band to like play at your school for like special occasions, and like they're actually a really good band. They don't just do like, it's not like brass band sort of stuff. Like they would do like popular songs at the time. So I would say yes, in my life it feels still very much ingrained. So Australia's biggest military holiday is Anzac Day, which is the 25th of April. The Powerpuff Girls are Australian. No, they're American, and they thought they were very clever creating like Townsville, and we were all kind of like, yeah, that's a real place, like what of it. So Australia's largest military holiday is Anzac Day, it's 25th of April, which is commemorating basically Australia landing at Gallipoli in the First World War. That was really Australia's like first foray into having our own military, I guess. So for reference, that happened 25th of April 1915, I want to say. So Australia became a country on the 1st of January 1901. So we were like 14 years into being a country. And we were kind of like, okay, I guess we better get involved in this. Because the way that Britain and Australia and New Zealand work with military things, it's kind of like the best sort of analogy I can think of is like, you know, if your friend gets into a bar fight and they're like, you need to come and hold my things, and you're kind of like, okay. So you have to go and you have to hold their things. You have to go and hold their things. So we do that. That's how we got involved in World War I. That's how we really got involved in World War II. But World War II was like the first time that Australia felt like really genuinely under threat, because obviously there was a Pacific front in that. And Kokoda is probably our biggest, our most remembered foray in that region. That's probably the one that everyone knows about. The Kokoda Trail is very much, so it's in Papua New Guinea, which is basically like, you know, Southeast Asia is here, or Southern Asia is here, Southeast Asia is here. Papua New Guinea's like here, you've got Indonesia over here, and Australia's like right there. So what basically happened is Australia, after Singapore sort of got involved, well, not got involved, but like, you know, invaded, I guess. So after Singapore got involved, Australia was kind of like, oh no, we might be in a bit of trouble here, because previously a lot of, like, basically all of our military was over in Europe or stationed elsewhere. So we were kind of like, we need to do something about this. And basically Australia, the Kokoda Trail, what basically happened is Australia fought their way through all of this jungle against the Japanese, and there was a big thing to basically reunite with the US, I think, to get back up. And we know now that like there was actually never any plans to have anything happen to Australia, but it felt very big at the time. But yes, it is still very culturally relevant. It gets brought up a lot. Yeah. Again, like, I'm probably not a very good yardstick of this because I did grow up in such a military town. There's a RAAF, which is Royal Australian Air Force base there. There is a Navy base. There is army, like Australia's biggest army base there. So it's very like ingrained in the culture where I grew up. Plus my dad is a real history buff, so there's that. But yes, the Kokoda Trail is still very much like ingrained in and we see it as like one of our biggest triumphs as a country. We don't do a lot of, Australia does not have a very big military force. For a country of our size, we're a very difficult country to defend. Because it's so big and there's not that many of us. So Australia has a population of like 23 million people in a country that's huge, you know. So we don't actually have a very big military force. But yeah, we see it as a kind of one of our biggest triumphs, I guess. And yeah, it's still very ingrained in society. Though I will say that Australia is not as, I guess our military history is not as celebrated as it is in places like the US. We don't tend to put the same sort of recognition on that, and you know, I don't know why that is. I'm not really in a position to say. I don't have any family in the military. We're not a military family. We're coal mining folk. But yeah, it is still very much ingrained in Australia. I think that something like that, I think, really changes the landscape of every country that's involved in it. And yeah, yeah. I don't know where I was going. I don't know where I was going with that, but yes. The War Memorial in Australia is actually really interesting. I went there. That's in Canberra, obviously, which, fun fact, is Australia's capital, not Sydney. Yes, yeah. I think it was, and doing the Kokoda Trail is like still very much, if you're big into like adventuring in Australia, a lot of people like that's their end goal is to like walk the Kokoda track. It's, I think, 95 kilometers of basically like rainforest and jungle. It is still to this day, like, it's not paved, it is muddy, it is, so many people have to get like airlifted off the Kokoda Trail every year because like people want to do it, but it's still to this day like very, it's very treacherous. One of the guys, like when I was a kid on TV, they got like a bunch of people together to do the Kokoda Trail, and it was crazy. Like, people still get like trench foot doing it. They get all sorts. Like, it's not paved. It is, yeah, it's basically just still mud, and they've left it virtually untouched, which is good for like historic purposes, I guess. It has a big like, a big place within like Papua New Guinea. The land doesn't want people there. They actually don't mind it so much. It's very set up for that, but you do have to do it with a guide mostly. They have like a guide that they actually don't mind it because it brings a lot of tourism in, though I can't really speak for them on that, but that's my understanding of it, that they don't really mind it so much. It's not like people go in, there's very strict rules about what you can and can't do, so people can't really go in and like destroy the landscape sort of thing. Like, it's a World Heritage sort of situation, I believe, though I'm not 100% on that. My dad, that's one of his huge dreams, would be to do the Kokoda track. He loves like hiking. Yeah. Do you have any holiday end of year traditions? What are you gifting your nephew? So I'm very excited. Obviously, I have he's 12 weeks old now, my nephew. I'm very excited for his first Christmas. We all are. But obviously, like, he's going to be awake for about 35 minutes of Christmas Day because he's going to be like 4 months old. We don't really have a lot of end of year traditions. We're still very British in a lot of ways, my family. So if you've somehow missed this, my family migrated to Australia in 1996. So we're still very British. So we have like turkey and all the trimmings, which is not a very Australian Christmas. Most people have like a cold lunch. It's obviously very hot here. Most people either tend to do ham or seafood in Australia, but I do not eat seafood. None of us really like it that much. So we're still very much a turkey and trimmings family. So that's, you know, what we'll be doing. What have I gifted my nephew? I have all of my Christmas presents here. Right over here. Let me show you. Let's see if I can do this without knocking everything over. So he's getting this Bulbasaur. I have a Bulbasaur tattoo, obviously. So he's getting this large Bulbasaur. This is probably twice the size of him at the moment, but I thought it was very cute. He's getting this Bulbasaur, and he's also getting these little shoes, which won't fit him for months, but they're on sale, and I just thought they were very cute. But like, look at them. They've got little dinosaurs on, and they glow in the dark. They've got little space dragons on, and they glow in the dark, and these won't fit him for about another year. But I just thought they were very cute. I bought my brother-in-law and my nephew matching sunglasses because my sister's gonna really hate them. So I bought them. If you, like, just Google Pit Viper sunglasses, that's what I bought for my, they're very much like speed dealer sunnies, and my sister's gonna hate them. But what is my job as her sister if not to annoy the living daylights out of her, I felt. So waiting for those to arrive. I think they'll be hilarious. So that's what he's getting for Christmas this year, yeah. I guess I'll have to find something to do for like next year and his birthday. So we're 1 day apart, me and my nephew, which is cute. Like his first birthday is going to be the day after my 30th birthday. So like no one's really going to care about my birthday, but that's okay. You know, such is life. I've made myself very pink. Let's blend that out. No one's really going to care about my birthday, but that's okay, because I'm also not really a birthday person, so that'll take the heat off a little bit. You know, like, shout out to Henry for that. Okay, yeah, we don't really do end of year traditions. The one thing we do, it's exciting because my dad is going to be here for Christmas for the first time in like 3 years, so that's very exciting. But we don't really do end of year traditions. The one thing we do is on New Year's Day, we have a Terry's chocolate orange. I don't know if you guys know what that is. If you're from the UK, probably, but I doubt anyone from the UK is watching it this time. But it's like an orange, it's like a chocolate orange, and you like hit it on the table and it falls out into like all its little segments. We always have one of those growing up, and now it's like my favorite time of year. But I feel like we can only have it at Christmas. Yeah. Well, this is a very apt question, but big picture, knowing we won't have everything, what are a few things you're hoping to see before Netflix inevitably cancels Bridgerton? Yeah. So like I said, I will be very surprised if we get a season 5 of it, mostly because Netflix doesn't really seem to do shows past 5 seasons. They just don't. I don't know why. It's probably something about licensing or like contracts or something, knowing them and being a huge corporation. What am I hoping to get before we inevitably cancel that? I want to at least see like the older sibling stories tied up. I would not be at all surprised if season 4 ends and like Francesca's a widow and we never know anything more than that. Like that would absolutely fucking suck. But like I think it's probably where we're headed. I don't think we'll get much info on that. Yeah, you have to pay actors more after 4 seasons. There it is, told ya. Isn't that just the most Netflix thing in the world? Yeah. So I think, realistically, I don't think we'll see that. So I would really, and it really sucks because my second favorite story is, Gregory and Lucy, and I'm bummed because like we're not gonna get that. We're never gonna get that. I just don't think we're gonna do. We're not gonna get all the seasons. So I guess what I'm hoping we get is just like a nice. I just want everyone's storyline. Like I hope they at least know that they're not going to get a 5th season when they write season 4, because that is one of my least favorite things, when they like realize halfway through, or they realize and they just like tack something on the end, or worse, we don't get anything. I had a huge diatribe in one of my other streams about the TV show Pan Am. Oh my god, I can't have that happen here again. I've lost too much to things like that, you know, like I just can't get invested. And I can't have that happen here. I just can't, you know. So I just want everyone to have like a definitive ending. Yeah, they did Queen Charlotte spin-off, but I don't think that was as popular as they wanted it to be. I think, and I haven't looked at the numbers. I haven't looked at the numbers for that, so I'm not actually sure how popular that was. I think it was reasonably popular. But I do think they were using that as sort of like a yardstick to see like, okay, how much is the interest in this show waning, you know? Because like I said, it has been 2 years since they released anything in this world, and I guess they used that as a bit of a stopgap to see sort of like, okay, how much do people actually want to know about this? How many people are invested in this story so much that they will watch something else in this realm? I don't think, correct me if we're wrong, but I don't think we've had anything about like a season 2 of Queen Charlotte yet, have we? I don't think so. And I think like it's one of those things, they're trying to see how much people actually want to know, how much they don't. What I want to see is, obviously I want to see Kate and Anthony, I'm being selfish, but I want to see Kate and Anthony have at least one little baby. I think that would be very cute. I think they would be very cute little parents. So I want to see that. And everyone else I just want to see like a good ending for. It will fucking suck for Francesca. But I want, in that case, if we're not going to get her actual like season 6 Michael coming in, I don't want to see her become a widow then. Because like, let me just in my mind feel that she's happy with John, the world's most vanilla man, but like let me feel that she's happy there, you know? Don't break her heart and my heart and then just be like, okay, and there we go, you know? Like I don't know. Don't do that to me. You don't have to do that. No one's, you know, no one's forcing you to do that. No one's forcing you to kill off that man, whom we haven't even seen yet. I actually, like, part of me's been wondering, because, like, we haven't seen, like, a casting announcement for John yet. And part of me's like, are they not gonna have John Sterling in name in the show? Like, I'm very curious about that. Maybe he'll be something else, and maybe they've decided like not to have Michael be his cousin because they've already made Philip, and there's no confirmation that Philip is gonna be, but no, they haven't, because Marina was okay. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll feel that like being cousins basically raised as brothers is like too close. Maybe they'll, I don't know, but like we haven't had a casting announcement about that, so I'm a little bit curious, but anyway. If you haven't opened your box for the day, yeah, can we wait until the live stream? Look, I did that like 3 minutes after. I got this message like 3 minutes after I'd opened the book, and I was like, oh no. But I am, like I said, I'm chronicling my journey. I'm chronicling my journey on Instagram with my book advent calendar. Oh God. yeah, why did they introduce Philip early and change? I don't know. I assume, and I've said this for a very long time, that I feel like it wasn't the wisest thing they could have done, because Julia Quinn just, like, she's not the world's most amazing writer, like, don't get me wrong, but she is, like, intentional about what she wants you to invest in. And I feel like now this is, like, maybe not, it hasn't, like, the whole Marina situation didn't paint anyone in a good light. Probably Philip, because he stepped up and he was like, okay. But, like, so it did paint him in a good light, but, like, the rest of it didn't, like, paint anyone in a good light. And then you had a whole situation with, like, Colin having feelings for Marina, which is really going to put, like, a dent in the Colin and Penelope situation when he finds out that she's Lady Whistledown. Surely, no? Like, don't mind me, I'm just making an eyeliner. Like, surely that's going to put a dent in their relationship when he finds out that she's basically the one that, like, stepped in and ruined that relationship, because he believed himself to be very much in love, and I think, like, that storyline can't be done yet. If there's no fallout from that storyline, what you're saying is that it didn't matter at all, which why even have it in there, you know? Though this has always been one of my issues with the Lady Whistledown plot. Like, everyone's like, I'm gonna be so fucking mad when I find out who she is. And then, like, they find out who she is and everyone's just like, okay. Like, no, follow through. I want some drama. Like, I'm here for drama. And God knows that book was, like, honestly, it was a little bit, like, I was a little bit deprived of it. I'm not gonna lie. Especially because, like, I think coming in, having already watched the first season of the show, like, I obviously knew she was Lady Whistledown, like, from the off. And that then, like, kind of ruined it, because one of the big reveals in that book, like, you don't find out until, like, halfway through the book that she's Lady Whistledown. And so, yeah, I feel like that kind of ruined it. Like, the book is going to need some little bit of interest there. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Marina storyline long term was, like, a little bit poorly thought out, because, like, there are implications of that, like, long lasting implications of that storyline if you're planning to follow through with everyone else's the conclusion of everyone else's story. If you're planning to follow that through, particularly with Eloise, if you're planning to follow that through, like, there are long lasting implications here that you have just not considered in any way, shape or form, you know? Like, yeah, none of my business. I'm not writing for the show. I'm not getting paid. I shouldn't. They don't even pay the writers they do have. They're not going to pay me. So, but I feel like they didn't think that through very well at all. But, you know, again, none of my business. Okay, I did have, for the live stream, how does it feel now that Mile High is finished? Do you have a favourite Kate and Anthony? Out of all your stories, which versions do you have a soft spot for and why? How does it feel? It feels weird that Mile High is finished, honestly. It feels wild. It mostly because, like, I don't feel that, like, 20 weeks has passed. And this has just been the story of this year for me, in that I kind of feel like this has been both the longest year of my life, and yet, like, also I don't know, like, I don't know how it's December already, if that makes sense. I think I just missed a question now. Okay. It's believed that Victor Ali is going to be John. Someone believed to be Victor was seen on set during the filming of a family scene at Bridgerton House. Interesting. So I was right then. They're using, like, a John stand-in character. Curious. I wonder if we'll see him with, like, a close friend or, like, a family member. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. So I just don't feel like it's been 20 weeks, but here we go. We're going to start a new fic next week, so very exciting. I'll have to get on that, try and get a voice in my head for it. Do I have a favourite Kate and Anthony? That's like picking a favourite child. I have a real soft spot in my heart for obviously the OG fic that I wrote, Bridget and Son. They're sort of my original children, like my firstborn. So I have a real like soft spot in my heart for those, but other than that, like it's really hard to pick a favourite out of them because I feel like they all have their different little quirks and they have their different little rhythms with everyone. But I have a real soft spot for midwife Anthony and OB Kate. I just felt they were really sweet, and I think I prefer my second one. I knew people had a favourite child. My mum's lying to me. So I have a real soft spot for them, and I feel like they didn't get a lot of recognition, or when they did, it was very negative recognition from people. All the Antonys are slightly unhinged, obviously. Do we not love an unhinged man? But also, like, Book Anthony is so unhinged. That man is a lunatic. He's shoving people out of the way to get to his wife. Like, the man's not right in the head. So, yeah, I'm excited. We're gonna do Wimbledon, Kate and Anthony next. And I'm a little bit nervous because I don't know that the age gap is gonna be like very well received, to be honest with you. So that's something going on in my life. I'm about to try this new lip kit. Very exciting. It's a Sailor Moon one. Or maybe not. I don't know. What colours are these? I forgot what colours I bought. I bought them ages ago. What colours are these? Oh, there's... Okay. Maybe it could be cute. Okay, there's like a gloss one. Let's try and overlay them. Okay. This colour is Bunhead. And Sailor Moon. Well, that's not exciting. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna try. I'm a little bit nervous how that's gonna be received because of the age gap. I think I'm gonna cop a little bit of flack for that, but that's okay. Another question. I know you won't do a live stream for one question, but in case I would love to hear how you've been lately. I know you've told us things have been tough, and I hope life's treating you better. I think we'd love to hear what you're looking forward to in the new year. Not resolutions, just nice things coming up or potentially happening. Well, I hope you're on here. There's hope to see you tomorrow, so I hope you're on. Have had a really odd year. It's been really like tough, challenging. I'm very much looking forward to it being over, though I don't know what I think is going to change in 2024. I don't know. What I've been really enjoying lately, I know I keep harping on this like training for a half marathon thing, but I have been really enjoying having like a goal. I haven't had that in a long time, and it's been really interesting for me because this year has been so tough. I feel like I haven't had a lot of time to like connect with myself in a way, I guess. And I'm using, because you can't run, sorry. You can't like really run long distances and like not be in touch with yourself, I guess. And I'm not really running. I don't know if I love that colour. It looks better in person than on the camera. Just had a moment to dry. I'm not really doing super long distances yet. I'm working up to about 10k right now. I don't know what that is in miles. I'm working up to about 10k right now. And I think like it's been a really good measure of like where I'm at. It's been great for my mental health for one, but it's also just been like a really good measure of where I'm at and like focusing on myself a little bit more, focusing on like nutrition. And I'm not advocating for that, but like it's been good to tell like sort of where I am. Like I feel like I'm more in tune with myself now. Which I know sounds like a really dumb thing to say, but other than that, I don't really have a lot going on in the next year. I'm trying to save to hopefully buy a house It's very exciting in this housing market that Australia's currently in. You know, Cosy Lives is hitting us hard, which is Australia's fun little way of saying the cost of living, because, you know, we need to make it fun with the fact that our country is becoming unlivable. So I think I don't really have too much going on in the new year. I'm obviously very excited. I'm going to see Taylor Swift in February, so I've got that coming up the end of February. Yeah, I'm excited to just like treat this as a bit of a clean slate, I guess. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. I know there are a couple of other questions further down here. Let me see. Okay. Yes. I just reread Bruises and I'm feeling all warm and fuzzy inside. I'm glad. In modern Bruises, is there something that separates Kate and Anthony for an extended period of time, maybe a relative in India, to make the distance more significant for contemporary times? I don't think so. I haven't like really thought too much about that. I don't think there is like a separating factor. I think like that's the difference between like Regency Kate and Anthony and modern Kate and Anthony, is that this is a really cute glove. Let's see what it looks like on. Oh, okay. I know that it's translating that well on camera, but it looks kind of cute in real life. I think that's maybe the difference between like Regency Bruises and modern Bruises, that I think that a lot of like the separation between them, there's different expectations on like a wife and a partner in Regency times than there is in modern times. I think like in Regency it was very much expected that in marrying Anthony, like Kate was gonna look after his siblings, she was gonna, you know, like run the household, and I think that's very different. So I think a lot of their not separation, but a lot of their sort of work in their life comes into like Anthony accepting a little bit more from Kate in that department, because I think that's something she'd very much want to give him, not necessarily to be like a stay-at-home wife, but sort of like she's a caretaker as well. You know, we talk a lot about how Anthony's a caretaker, but like at the heart of her character, so is Kate, and I think that's why they work so well together, because they're two people that they're used to giving care and attention to people. They're not necessarily used to accepting it. And like them learning to do that is one of the really interesting parts of their story for me. So I think a lot of that story comes from that, more so than like a separation. If you wanted to give someone a good idea of the kind of stories you write, can you pick 3 or so that would be a good intro into the Mollyverse starter pack? Again, this is like picking a favorite child. I don't know. I feel that, honestly, I think Bruises is probably a pretty good one. Anything from the Bridget and Sons universe. And I would probably also say, to give you a little bit more of sort of a look into the unhinged, I would say maybe like Hansy. That was a fun one. Yeah, that was a fun one. That was where she thought Anthony was like a handyman, or as Catherine's just pointed out, the Little Mermaid one. I loved that story and no one else did, but that's fine, you know. I think we know numbers 1 and 2, but can you rank the core 8 Bridgerton books according to Molly? I feel like a non may have ruined this question. Yes, look, a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. So the core 8. So number 1 is obviously The Viscount Who Loved Me. Number 2 is On the Way to the Wedding. I'm gonna say number 3 is When He Was Wicked. This is in terms of the book and the story, not necessarily the couple, because I feel like that changes things. Like, I really like Sophie as a character. I didn't really love Benedict's book, just because he's kind of an asshole in it. Like, she's like, please stop sexually harassing me, and he's like, do you want me to though? She's like, yeah. So what do we have so far? We've got Kate, the Viscount Who Loved Me, On the Way to the Wedding. We've got When He Was Wicked. Then oh, this is tricky. I'm gonna say then It's in His Kiss. Yeah, it's in His Kiss. Then probably An Offer from a Gentleman. Then To Sir Philip with Love, The Duke and I, and Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. Yes. That feels like a good place for everyone. That's in terms of the story. Which this was my argument that I had this week. If you're not up to date on that, my argument was that stories are a lot more than the tropes that they play off. That's why there's so many different ones. Can you imagine? But that's probably where, if you were to ask me the couples, I think I'd have to rank them a little bit differently. But in terms of the story and the way everything played out, those are my favorites. So the top two couples are still the same. Yes. If Simone Ashley's Kate and RJP's Simon got to do a scene or scenes together, how do you see it playing out, either based on the books or not? I think Simon would find Kate absolutely hilarious in the TV show. I think because Anthony for one spent an entire season harassing Simon, and Anthony also has been very vocal to this point in that he's not really looking for connection in his marriage, and I just think he would find the fact that Kate just absolutely puts Anthony in his place hilarious. He would be having the time of his life watching those two interact, and I'm kind of bummed we didn't get to see that. I'm glad for him that he moved on. I don't hold it against him the way some other people do. That's his right. He's not interested in coming back. Amazing. He's doing so many other things. But I do kind of wish we got to see that. Do you see yourself writing more Regency anytime soon? I don't know. I think if the right story came up, then yes, but I don't. It's not that I don't love writing Regency. I don't think I'm really that good at it. So I don't have anything on my slate at the moment to answer that question. Looking forward to Wimbledon. Yes, I'm glad someone is. Hi Molly, I'm really drunk but glad to listen to you. Cool, what are we drinking? Let me know. Glad someone's looking forward to Wimbledon. Yes, which other AUs are coming up? So after Wimbledon, I really want to start, what's the one I was thinking of the other day? So I want to start, I really want to do the Parent Trap AU. I think that would be really interesting. I want to do the Parent Trap AU. I want to do it really bad, but I don't know that I have room for it. I also really want to do tattoo artist Anthony and florist Kate. I really want to do that one. But coming up for Christmas, wine. Yeah, I'm not a wine drinker. Wine drunk is a special kind of drunk, and it does not agree with me. But now that I'm approaching 30, I did 3 drinks and I'm done. We had our work Christmas party the other night, a couple weeks ago now. 2 weeks ago? Yeah. 2 weeks ago. And it started at 2 o'clock and it was kind of a bar crawl. And it started at 2 o'clock and by 6:30 I was on the phone to my sister come pick me up, I'm scared. Not scared, but come pick me up. I want to go home, please. Let's get noodles. We ended up getting takeaway noodles, and I read a book to my nephew, and it was great. But coming up for Christmas, I am going to be doing the Prime Minister's storyline from Love Actually for Anthony and Kate. Kate is going to be the Prime Minister. I'm very excited about this. Yeah, hoping to remove the gross power dynamic, and no one's going to be commenting on Anthony's body at all, except maybe Kate. Yeah. You ordered the Kate and Anthony Funkos, right? Okay, so yes, I did. They aren't here yet. So I think they're slated for release in Australia in like December or January. I'm very excited. They're going to join our shelf up here, I think. Though I don't know. I was going to maybe take them to work, but I think to like sit on my desk. But I think they'll be better up there. So I didn't order any of the other ones though, like the who was there? There was Simon, Daphne, and Queen Charlotte. I didn't order any of those ones. Maybe I will. I want to get like a little corgi so it can sit with. You can get corgi ones. Weirdly, I think they're royal ones, which like who is asking for a Funko Pop of King Charles, I guess now, but like who is asking for a Funko Pop of that? Where did they see the market? I don't know, like, and I live in the Commonwealth. So I'm gonna sit them up here, though they're not here yet. Yeah. When is your next tattoo appointment or what's on your tattoo wish list? Okay, so I don't have an appointment plan, but like if my friend called me up and she was like, do you want to get a tattoo today? I'd be like, what time are we going? Like I desperately am in need of another tattoo, I feel. So hopefully in the new year I can get something. I've been wanting to get something Taylor Swift inspired for a while, but I haven't been able to put anything together. So if like anyone does art, if anyone does art, if anyone does, I'd be happy to commission something from you and pay you for your time. So hit me up if that's something you'd be interested in, I guess. Is there anything you like about your job? Is that a productive question, or is it like that thing where people say one nice thing about something you hate? You know what? There's a lot of great things about being a dentist. It is some of the time very rewarding work. It is some of the time also very frustrating in that people don't think that dentistry is like real healthcare. A lot of people see it as a vanity like healthcare, I guess. But it's a lot more than that. There's issues with dental decay and cardiac disease, diabetes, and people don't really see that. And even when you sort of present it to them, they're kind of like, okay, and you're like, no, but for real, this is gonna kill you. So that's very frustrating. I think what I enjoy most about my job is that I have a pretty good roster for the most part. I get a long weekend almost every week, and it affords me the opportunity to be able to do other things that I want outside of work, you know, like I don't really see it as my passion, I guess, but it does afford me the opportunity. It's engaging enough, and it affords me the opportunity to be able to do what I want outside of that. So that's the important thing, I think, for me. Yeah. I also, like, for the most part, really like the people that I work with, and yeah. The great thing about it as well is, like, once you leave work, there's, like, no paperwork to be done. There's no, like, you know, it's nice that way. For some reason, I feel like you're really into trainers, like sneakers. You did not make that up. I have, if I were to move out of the way here, I guess I could do that. This is maybe like, and it goes all the way down, so you can see how many rows there are. 3. So there's 6 rows there. This is maybe like a third of the shoes that I own. I actually have another pair of Doc Martens that aren't even out of the box yet. I should take those out. They're like a Clash collaboration. They're like a cool green color, but I've never really had the opportunity to wear them. Yeah, I do. I like collecting sneakers, but I'm a bad sneaker collector in that, like, for me, that's like something I'm gonna wear. I'm not gonna buy that and just put it in a box. So I guess they lose a lot of their value. Like, they're not really collector's pieces for me. But yeah, I like that. That's something that I enjoy. I have quite a big collection. I'm really bummed. So I designed these shoes for me to wear to work. These are Nike Air Max 90s. Very exciting. I designed these. They've got my initials on the back. Yeah. I designed these for me to wear to work. And I've had them like 3 weeks. And like already the sole is like peeling. So I'm a little bit bummed. I need to send them an email about that. Yeah. I also have these cool ones sitting at the top. I sometimes wear these for work. They're like NASA Vans. Yeah, some of my favorites. Yeah. These are other ones I designed, which turned out really cool. Again, Air Max 90s. Yeah, I like this style. But yeah, so I had to order like another new pair of shoes for work. These ones are cute too. The little like scientist Mickey Mouse ones. Anyway, we could go on all day about this. So I had to order new shoes for work again, and I'm kind of bummed. I feel like they're not going to match my scrubs as well, which is a bit disappointing. That's fine. Okay, I think we have one more question, and then we'll call it a day, right? And then I'll check the chat. If Shondaland wisened up and you wrote season 3, what would Kate and Anthony's first and last scenes be? Do you wear fun scrubs? So I'm not allowed to wear fun scrubs. I'm allowed to wear fun scrubs on Fridays. The rest of the time I have like a grey colour we have to wear. So I'm allowed to wear fun scrubs on Fridays, and through December I'm allowed to wear Christmas scrubs. So look out for that. I have some really neat like little tartan ones that I've bought this year. And I just bought some new fun dinosaur scrubs to wear on Fridays. And the problem is I don't work a lot of Fridays, so I only work one a month. So I've got new ones to wear for the new year. They're dinosaur patterned ones. I'm very excited about that. I've got matching like top and pants. It's going to be very much a vibe. But anyway, if Shondaland wisened up and I wrote season 3, I don't think I would want to write season 3. I don't think I would want to write season 3 is the problem. What would Kate and Anthony's first and last scenes be? Truly, if I was them, the last scene would be Kate like announcing her pregnancy. Because I just think that would be a very nice way to round out the season, because I think in the limited screen time they're going to get this season, I think it's going to be about Kate and Anthony sort of finding their way in married life, but more so Kate finding her way as like the lady of the house. She's an important person in society now. You know, we've seen how important like Violet is to society, and part of that is because who she's made herself to be. But the Bridgertons are also seen to be a very like influential family, and she's now like the female head of that. So I think like part of this season, part of her role this season is going to be in finding her place in that. I think it would be a really nice way to just sort of like round that out. You know, now we've got a baby on the way. I don't necessarily want it to become like a, like I don't think it's gonna be, and I don't want it to be a plot point that like she's upset or annoyed, or like they're both sort of like, they think, you know, they're disappointed they haven't fallen pregnant yet. Like I don't want it to like be that sort of situation. I'm just not really interested in that kind of storyline. But the first scene, I think I would want it to just be them like, I do know what I want. I want it to be them like getting ready for the season together. We saw that from Anthony in season 2. He was sort of like preparing everything, and we sort of saw him like crumbling under the weight of that expectation a little bit. And I think it would be a really nice parallel now to see them like sharing duties, you know, like he's sort of rattling off a list of things to be done, and she's like, yeah, I've done 3 of those things already for you, you know. Like I think it will be a really interesting parallel to see them like sharing these responsibilities, because again, I think they're both like nurturers, but they're not used to being nurtured, if you know what I mean. Like they're used to being in charge, and it's nice to see them like have someone to share that responsibility with, rather than having to do it all alone, especially because they made Mary like such an absent mother, which I'm still filthy about. Like when I die, they will open my chest and find like, how could you do that to Mary Sharma, like engraved on my heart, I think. Yeah, I'm going to be bitter about it for a really long time, if I'm going to be honest with you. I'm furious. And I think if you haven't read the book, as we get further into our little like reread, you'll see that like Mary is very involved in that situation. Like, yeah, she's taken it upon herself to be Edwina's like gatekeeper, as it were, but that's only because Mary's kind of like, okay, you need to be having fun as well, you know, like you need to be having fun, she's kind of just letting them have more control over this situation, but she's still very much like guiding them through it, you know. Yeah. Anyway, let's go through the chat. If you have a question that I didn't answer, maybe put it in the chat again, because I can only see so much in there. I can't really see anything. On season 3, do you think the Lady Whistledown should be revealed and ended in season 3? I hope so. Here's to that idea. But no. Do you know the one thing I really don't want to see at the end of the Bridgerton series? Like whether that ends in season 4, season 8. Do you know the one thing I really don't want to see? Do you know the one thing I would fucking hate? Someone else picking up the mantle of Lady Whistledown. I don't want to see that. This isn't a Gossip Girl situation. I don't want to see that. Let it be done, you know, like let it be felt that it served its purpose, which is a purpose that I don't really think it is serving, but that's my own opinion. Because I think like truly Lady Whistledown would be a really good way to like hold people accountable for their actions. Let Julie Andrews retire. I never want Julie Andrews to retire. How dare you put that out into the universe? My God, can you imagine a world without Dame like I don't want to live in a world where Julie Andrews isn't. I don't. The Sound of Music is an incredible film. I don't want to live in a world where she's not producing absolute fucking art. And also she can't retire before I get Princess Diaries 3. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I think like, what was I saying before that? Lady Whistledown could serve to like really hold people accountable and like call people out on their shit, but like, that's not what it's being used for. It's not. And I think like in its truest form, maybe that would be a good thing to continue, but the way it's being used at the moment, no. I never thought about how Princess Diaries is a Shonda movie. It is. One of her, honestly, it's the best thing she's ever written. Princess Diaries 2, like, oh, give them all to me. I don't know if you guys have read Princess Diaries 3. Apparently it's in the works. And like Anne Hathaway's back. She's on board. So, I don't know if you've read the Princess Diaries books. I have, because I have nothing to do. So, I have, because I've got nothing to do with my life. What does my sister want? She's messaging me on Instagram of all places. Shout out to her. So the way the Princess Diaries books end is Mia finds out, because her dad's not dead in the books, so she finds out she actually has a younger half sister. And then that sort of, but like Mia doesn't really become the, well, she does become the queen, but like not really. So then she has twins and she marries Michael actually. Because her and Michael like split up for a little bit. This is going deep into the Princess Diaries lore, which I feel like no one has asked me for, but here I am. So they broke up for a little bit because he wanted to basically like find a path like outside of her, or like prove his worth without their relationship, and then they got back together. And I thought that was a really, did you read the one that came out this year? I didn't. Is there one that came, oh God, now I've got to add that to my to be read list. Is this about her younger sister though, Marina? Like, can we, yeah. Princess Diaries, Anthony AU. So I have a Princess Diaries, Kate and Anthony AU. It's called Royals. It's about Princess Diaries 2. Princess Diaries 2. I've beat you to the punch. So, yeah, the quarantine princess, about her ruling during COVID. Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I do. I have a Princess Diaries AU, and actually I want to get back to writing it because I really want it. So, spoiler alert for it. But it's about Princess Diaries 2, which obviously you've seen the movie, you know what happens there. But the person that she was going to marry is Michael Sterling. So, fun fact. I'll leave you with that. Anyway, I don't really have anything else to add to that. So yeah, I guess if I would love to, because I had a whole story planned for like Edwina's storyline. I was gonna go back and do like the first one from like Michael and Francesca's point of view. But I didn't. I got distracted. And I also felt like there wasn't really like the audience for it at the time. I don't know if there'll be an audience now because I feel like most people have forgotten it even exists. Maybe I'll bring it back for like a fun little one shot. So there's the main story, and then there's like then there's an after one which is about their wedding. Spoiler alert, Kate and Anthony do end up together. If you were at all confused. I guess thanks for getting ready with me today. I'm hopefully going to upload the second in the series of The Viscount Who Loved Me, like our reread. So that'll be about chapter 2, and I think it's just going to be about that chapter. Because that's the chapter where Kate and Anthony meet, and there's actually quite a few like dynamics in there to go through. So I'm hoping to upload that next week. So if you want to read along with us, then yes, maybe refresh your memory on what happens in chapter 2. But yeah, I mean like chapter 2 after the prologue. I don't remember how it's written like that. I think it's chapter 2. It's either chapter 2 or 3. Maybe read both to be sure. But anyway, thank you for getting ready with me. This went way longer than I thought. But yeah, thank you. And we'll see you next week.